Hello everyone, good morning and Salam Sejahtera. Welcome to today's e-trade education session titled Understanding Fundamental Analysis in Stock Trading. Jointly brought to you by TNG Digital and Apin Huang Investment Bank. I'm Yuning from TNG Digital and I'm your moderator for today. Whether you're completely new to investing or you're already having some experience, today's topic is going to give you a strong foundation to make more informed decisions in the stock market. Now, when we hear terms like stock market, analysis or valuation, they can sometimes feel a little intimidating. But the goal of this session is to help you simplify those concepts, break them down step by step, and show you how fundamental analysis can actually be applied in real life when you are selecting a stock for yourself. Before we begin, there are some important information and disclaimer on the screen, so do take a moment to have a look. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Encik Noor Hasnizam Hassan. He holds a diploma in technical analysis from Society of Technical Analysts STA, UK, and a bachelor's degree in finance from University Technology Mara, UiTM, Malaysia. Currently, Encik Nizam serves as an analyst in the Retail Research Division at Apin Huang Investment Bank. In his role, he is responsible for delivering market analysis and trading insights to retail clients. He leverages his technical analysis expertise to identify price patterns and investment opportunities, helping investors to make more informed decisions. So let's welcome Encik Nizam. Good morning, Encik Nizam.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, are you ready to dive right into today's topic?
Yeah, I'm more than ready.
Okay. So to get started, before we dive into analysis, let's first set the foundation right. Because I think it's important for us to take a step back and look at the bigger picture so that when we start analyzing companies, you'll clearly see where those companies exist in the overall market ecosystem. So, Encik Nizam, the first question that I would like to ask you, can you start off by walking us through what the stock market actually is and who are the main players?
Okay. Before we start, thank you, Yuning, for having me today. So, as a start, we look at the stock market landscape. Basically, as a stock market landscape, we have three parties. First, we have company, and then we have exchange, and also we have investor. So, for company, the main reason they are going to listing is, first is to raise the capital to fund the growth, expansion, and also the operation activity. And for investor, normally they're going to stock market landscape to the stock market is to build wealth. They can gain money, they can get profit from the capital gains or price appreciation, and also from the dividend income. Okay. Meanwhile, for the exchange actually is a centralized market where buyer and seller trade financial instrument. And for investors serve as a benchmark to measure the collective performance of a group of assets. Some example here, we can see that we have Grab, we have 99 Speedmart, also Mr. DIY, and also the top one we know is Oriental Coffee. And for exchange, we have such as Bursa Malaysia, Nasdaq, Hong Kong Exchange, and Japan Index. And for investors, we have FTSE KLCI, S&P 500, and Hang Seng, and also Nikkei 225. Yep.
So that's interesting to know. So for all of us here in Malaysia, right, Bursa Malaysia play a very key role in investment and stock trading. So could you explain how does Bursa works and how people can actually invest in companies listed in Bursa Malaysia?
For Bursa Malaysia, actually this Bursa Malaysia is an exchange holding company incorporated in 1976 and listed in 2005. It has grown to be one of the largest bursa in Asia, and today Bursa Malaysia operates and regulated as a multi-asset exchange. Not only stock market, they also have derivative, and also nowadays they also have coins offerings, offering a comprehensive range of investment, capitalizing, and exchange-related facility. And as at today, we have more than 1,000 listed company in Bursa Malaysia. Okay.
Okay, so now that we have got the stock market basics, so let's move into today's main theme, which is about fundamental analysis. So as an investor, once we know how and where to buy shares, the next big question is, which company should we actually invest in? And that's where fundamental analysis comes in. So Inchen Izam, could you explain in very simple terms to our investors what exactly is fundamental analysis?
Okay. Fundamental analysis is a method of measuring stock intrinsic value based on the company asset, revenue, and income stream, among other factors.
Okay, so thank you for the explanation. But I do observe, right, in news, social media, or sometimes just around us, there are some people who trade based on just the news headline, rumors, or even just short-term price movement. So why do you think fundamental analysis is such an important tool for investor? Why not we just follow the market trend or news when we are investing, because it's the easier path?
To answer the question is why we need to use fundamental as our guideline. First, you have market-informed investment decision, and second, it helps us to focus on long-term value, not only short-term noise. The third one, we assess the financial health and future potential, and it's used by the legendary investors such as Warren Buffett. And the pro and cons and benefit to using the fundamental analysis. The benefit is we can get the real data, great for long-term investment, and reveal business help, and also help avoid hype. So because we don't want to FOMO, because FOMO can kill us. But the limitation for fundamental analysis is time consuming, because you need to study a lot. It's also ignore the short-term trends and require deep analysis, which is you need to understand what actually is fundamental. And value may take years to reflect, which is sometimes it may take some time to reflect on the market shares, market price.
Okay, thank you, Inchen. So when we say about fundamental analysis, right, what are the different areas that investors should actually look at?
Okay, basically you have 6 components in fundamental. First, we have economy, which is we study macroeconomic factor such as GDP, interest rate, and also inflation. Second, we have industrial, which is we assessing the current condition and trend. And third one, we find the future prospect, which is we try to find the company growth potential in the future. The fourth one, the management, we considering non-numerical element such as the quality of management. This is governance things, and also the company. The fifth one, the fifth component for fundamental analysis in the company is which is we study the company financial statement. And the last one is financial. So we study the ratio analysis to measure the company performance and make comparison between their peers.
That seems a lot to consider when conducting a fundamental analysis. So what I can see in short is that it's not just about looking for the different figures, but it's also about piecing all of them together from different areas so that it can help investors to give a complete picture of the company's value. So we have got economy, we got industry, and then the company itself, even management quality, and also financials, which sounds very comprehensive. So the next question in Nizam, how should investors apply this fundamental analysis in their real life when they are investing?
Okay, basically you have 2 approaches to use fundamental as your investment or to study your investment to make your decision. First, we have bottom-up analysis approach, which is we study the company first, and then we go up to industrial, and last one is economy, which is the overall of the country. Okay, and second one we have top-down, which is we find we see the economy first, which is whether the economy of the country is good, and then we go down to industrial, so all sector, and last one we find the suitable company. Okay, and 3-step to use fundamental analysis is we get ready we get ready the three core financial statement, which is we have income statement, balance sheet, and also cash flow statement. And second one, we look at the numbers, which is the quantitative analysis. We look at the revenue, profit, and cash flow, and also key ratio and balance sheet statement. Okay, and last one, we decipher the story, which is on the quantitative analysis. We find the business model, we see the competitive advantage, and the management quality, and last one, the brand and innovation of the culture of the company.
All right, so we have covered actually the big picture and also the key components of fundamental analysis. So now let's get a little bit more hands-on and details. At the end of the day, fundamental analysis always comes back to the numbers. For many beginners, this can feel a bit overwhelming because there are so many data and details. So where and how should we start, right? So Encik Nizam, next follow-up question would be, where should we get started? Like, which is the first data that the investor should look for?
Okay, good question. For me, I will use like, if we recall up again the first. So for me, the best approach is always format everything top down, and also the bottom up. So the easiest way to look at the company using a fundamental, we go to the income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, and also the key ratio. So let's start with the income statement. Okay. So basically, what is income statement? Income statement is also known as the profit and loss statement. It shows the company financial performance over a specific period of time. It will highlight the revenue, expenses, and net profit or loss. Okay. Three key components in income statement will have revenue, which it will show the income generated from the core business, the company core business. The expenses, which is the cost incurred in operation, including cost of the goods sold. And last one, the net profit, which is the bottom line calculated revenue minus the expenses. Okay, and what the purpose and importance in income statement? It will help stakeholder evaluate the company profitability and operational efficiency. Other than that, it will provide insight into revenue trends and also expenses of the management. Okay, next we have a balance sheet. And what is this balance sheet? Basically, balance sheet is a financial statement that summarizes the company asset, liability, and shareholder equity at a specific point of time. Okay, it will provide insight into the financial health and structure of the business. And three key components for balance sheet is asset, which is the resource owned by the company. Second, the liability, which is the obligation owed to other, which is the company have to pay. And the last one, the shareholder equity, which is the residual interest in the asset after deducting the liabilities. Okay. Purpose and importance of balance sheet is stakeholder assess the company liquidity, solvency, and overall financial position. And it's essential for decision making by investor, creditor, and also management for the company. Okay. Last statement for company is cash flow statement. And what is cash flow statement? Cash flow statement is to summarize the inflow and outflow of the cash in organization over a period. It will categorize cash movement into operating, cash flow statement into investing, and last one, cash flow from the financing activity. Okay. Also, three key components in cash flow statement. We have operating activity, we have investing activity, and also financing activity. So for operating activity, we can see the cash generated or spent in the business operation, which means whatever company do, it will appear in the cash flow operating activity. Okay. From investing activity, we can see whether the company can grow or not based on the investing activity, because from the cash flow from investor activity, we can see whether the company are buying an asset, buying or manufacturing, or they invest the money into the investment, or they can get from the sales. And last one, the financing activity. It show the cash flow related to debt, equity, and also dividend. Okay, and why is matter for cash flow statement? It provide clarity on the company liquidity and ability to generate cash to fund operation, repay the debt, and invest in growth. It's complement the income statement and also the balance sheet. Okay, last one is key ratio. So basically, ratio is with if we see the key ratio, we can see is how much the investor pay to. Example is PE ratio. PE ratio is how much the investor pay per $1 for every earning, and if earning per share or EPS is the profit allocated to each share. Debt to equity is financial risk and leverage. ROE is how efficiency management use the equity. Price over book ratio is market value versus the book value. And last one, free cash flow, which cash left after expenses minus the available for growth or dividend.
All right, thanks, Encik Nizam. So we have really learned a lot so far about the stock market, what is fundamental analysis, and also the step-by-step of conducting a fundamental analysis in stock trading. So in order to ease the understanding of our audience, let's put all of them into real practice. We have learned about first the income statement, and then the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and also some key ratios. But the real power of fundamental analysis will come when we start applying these tools into actual companies. So, Encik Nizam, we have prepared some case study of different companies and sectors. So, could you walk us through these examples and show us how do you use fundamental analysis to interpret these numbers, and maybe point us out, right, what signs or red flags that we should be looking for when comparing companies in different industries?
Okay. All right. Before we go deep dive on how to read the financial statement, so let's see how to get the financial statement from Bursa Malaysia website. So the first step, you need to go to www.bursamalaysia.com. Second step, from the menu button, you can select from the market information, the market statistic, and also securities. The third step, you can start search for your desired company in the search bar, and last one, select the annual report or quarter result. Let's move on to the income statement case study. So on this slide, I'm gonna show you on how we can use fundamental analysis, specifically on financial statement, on how we can use the income statement to analyze the company performance, the company past performance. Okay. On this slide, we have two company. We will do comparison between company A and also the company B. So for company A, we can see that the company making a revenue of 536.8 million in FY25. Comparing to FY24, the company making revenue of 497 million, which means the company, the revenue for the company is up by 8% year on year. Okay, on profit after tax, we could see that the company registered the profit after tax of 53 million for FY25. But meanwhile, for FY24, the company profit after tax is only 34 million, which means the company profit after tax year on year is increased by 56% year on year. Let's move on to the company B. For the company B, the revenue is only 227 million for FY24, but for FY23, the company recorded the revenue of 170 million. Comparing year on year, the revenue is increased by 33% year on year. And for profit after tax, the net profit of the company B for FY24 is 16 million. But for FY23, the company net profit is only 10 million, which means the company net profit also increased by 59%. So which company that we could choose, we should choose to invest is always, for my advice, is always on how much the company, whether the company is making profit or not. And second one is how much the revenue that the company earn comparing year on year. Okay. Next, we also can use balance sheets as one of the tools to analyze, or we can choose the company to invest. Okay, so on balance sheets, what are the most important thing, or what are the most important part to analyze before we can invest? Okay, three part that had in the balance sheet, which is we have asset, and also we have liability, and last one is shareholder equity. Okay, asset means the company asset, what the company had in the group for that particular year. Meanwhile, for liability is how much that the company had to pay or have to pay for the year ended for that particular year also. And for the total, for shareholder equity is how much the company, how much the investor invest in the company. Okay. For asset, what we should focus on is, for me, I will look at the cash and cash equivalent for that particular of year. So as we can see on the example, on the sample, 85 million in FY25, comparing to year 24, the company only have 41 million. Okay, comparing year on year, the company had double up their cash and bank balance, which means the company securing more cash into the group. Next, we should also look at the company liability, which is the current liability. The current liability, what we should look at is how much the company borrowing. And for this company, the company borrowing is also increased quite a lot, from 10 million in FY24 to 142 million for FY25. And it might have a reason why the group increased tremendously in the borrowing. It might have reason. So to find out what's the reason and what the company use for the borrowing, you can look at the detail on the financial statement. Okay. And last one, another part or another section that we should look at in the financial statement, which is the cash flow statement. Okay, in cash flow statement, it also have three main part for cash flow, which is, first one, we have cash flow from operating activities. Second one, we have cash flow used in investing activity, and last one, cash flow used in financing activities. And okay, for cash flow from operating activity, what we should look at is, as long as the company net cash from operating activity is on positive side, which mean the company or the group is quite good because the company can generate income or generate money, generate cash from the operating activities. Okay. Next on cash flow in investing activity. Okay, in cash flow from use in investing activity, we can look at the company, whether the company is growing or stagnant. Okay, as long as the company have some activity in this side, which means the company are growing. And last one, cash flow from financing activity. Okay, in this particular section, we could see that whether the company paying their loan, how much left in their loan, and how much they earn from, example, dividend paid, or how much they are paid in dividend, and how much they pay for the leasehold or liability. And last one we can see on the cash flow is how much the net, whether the cash and cash equivalent, whether it's increased or also decreased.
Okay, so just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached to the end of our session. So there's really a lot that we learned today about fundamental analysis from the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and also piecing all this data together into key ratio for us to identify which company is actually better to invest in as compared to another. So thank you so much everyone for spending your time with us today here. I hope you found this session useful and insightful as I did. So before we close, Encik Nizam, just one more last question. If someone here is new to investing, what is one piece of advice that you give to them before they get started with investment?
It's a hard question. But for me, the best advice that I can give is always study, always learn, because we should learn before we go for investment.
Okay, thank you, Encik Nizam. Fantastic. And thank you once again to Encik Nizam for participating with us here today to share his knowledge and also insights about investment and especially fundamental analysis with every one of you. So we hope you leave with a clearer understanding about fundamental analysis and how it can support your investment journey. So before we go, just a quick reminder, if you are ready to explore stock trading yourself, check out the e-trade feature in your Touch and Go e-wallet, jointly brought to you by TNG Digital, Affin Hwang Investment Bank, and Bursa Malaysia. It is designed to make local stock trading accessible for everyday formulations. And if you found this session helpful, please feel free to share it with your friends or family who's also into starting their investing journey. So that's all from us today. Thank you again, and until next time, happy learning and happy investing. Bye-bye.